Fancy Monkey in Georgia has a story about an answered prayer from when they were a believer and wants to hear our thoughts on it. Fancy Monkey, hi. Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Okay. So I know that we don't have too
Hi.
much time
Hello.
left, but I want to make sure that you have the chance to say it. So tell us about your answered prayer.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to make it quick. All right. So years ago, I put myself out there to adopt a kid, a special needs kid. They presented me with a 9-year-old kid. He fit the bill, was perfect. Everything seemed good. I was still a believer at the time.
Mhm.
So I went into a little room by myself, to pray to Sky Daddy. Uh, and I just said, I wasn't looking for signs or portends, I didn't believe that. I was just looking for that quiet voice, that you hear about.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, all right, am I supposed to be this kid's father? Should I do this? And then I went about my business, and within the hour, the phone rang. It was the social worker, and she said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, he's got a birthday coming up in a couple of weeks." And I said, "Really? What day?" And she said, "January 7th, my birthday." And I put
Wow.
my hand over the mouthpiece on the phone, and I looked up and went, "Wow, not even subtle, dude." So the thing is, now I'm an atheist. Of course, I don't believe in answered prayers and stuff. But holy crap, that's a compelling argument, right? I
Really?
mean, as
I
as
mean,
a
it's
believer.
it's
So let's
beautiful.
well, don't you think so? I mean,
Well,
yeah. I mean,
I think V is right.
it's a hell of a coincidence, right?
See,
Well,
this is the thing. This is the thing. The small voice that we're all taught about, right? And that like emotional moment. Like I got goosebumps when you said that. Like I got chills. That was really cool. And if I was a Christian, that would not be disconnected from how compelling I found the argument, right? That's tied right in there. So let's acknowledge that it was
Right.
really,
yeah.
really poignant and awesome and cool and put that on the shelf for now because none of that matters when we're talking about how logically, valid this might be. What is the likelihood? What would the explanation be from like a very rational standpoint? Did God change the birth date of the kid, or did God know what was going to happen and that you were going to pray and like arranged for the kid's parents to have sex like so that it would time out correctly, like rationally on like a really like basic level, like it's really cool and that it happened within the hour is compelling, but I don't know, like
Yeah.
realistically it doesn't stand up to any scrutiny.
And the other piece is when we're looking for something special, no matter what it is, we point at it and go, "That's the special thing." I mean, when you're tuned in for that kind of thing, when you're looking for something,
Right.
you're going to find it. And the thing is, if there was
Right.
some great coincidence that happened the next day, that have felt just as valid. And it's just kind of the way that we work. We hold on to the hits and we ignore the misses. And I can tell you there are so many times that I've prayed and I thought that my prayer was answered, but I look back and I realize that that is just a drop in the bucket compared to all of the times I prayed and nothing happened. I just held on to the hits. And so
Right.
your ability
Right.
to
Sure.
yeah,
I'm just saying the timing of it, and the fact that it seems like a remarkable coincidence that we would have the same birthday. Now, I looked it up. I went and looked it up, and it's not that much of a coincidence. Nick Cage has the same birthday.
Maybe
The
Nick Cage
number
was
of
supposed to
people that
be.
were born on January 7th,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
it
But
so I real like I said, now I realize, but I'm thinking, I wanted to put it out there because people that do still hold to answered prayer, that one seems like the real deal, just
Yeah.
because of the timing of it,
oh
and
yeah.
the what seems to be a wild coincidence, which isn't really, you know.
Well, I mean, but here's a piece that I would counter with, and that is, if I had that mindset still, and someone told me that it was a coincidence or possibly just a coincidence, I would feel like that person was demeaning the specialness of the event. Like that person was trying to make
There you
something
go.
that was really, really wonderful for me not acceptable and not okay. I think V, you had the right way to approach that. You
Yeah.
know, recognize the specialness of it, because the specialness of a connection that you have with your child, that is wonderful regardless of whether or not a God is there. In fact, I think that
That's pretty cool.
yeah, and the fact that somebody would say it's less special because a God did or didn't ordain it, it is wonderful. The connection and the love and the relationship that you build is wonderful. And I just get frustrated because I would hate for someone to think that it's less special because a God did or didn't do it. You know, like just recognize the uniqueness of it. You don't need
Right.
to you don't need to poo-poo it, but you also don't need a God to make it wonderful.
Yeah. Right, right. I thought it would be fun, and I thought, you know, to illustrate to people that, you know, why we jump to it's an answered prayer when it's just a wild coincidence.
Yeah.
That's
It's just
really
a series of events. Like you said, it's accounting a hit, and it seems like a real hit, but you know, it's just coincidence. Just happened.
Oh yeah.
Pretty cool.
It definitely. Thank
Thank you for
calling and
sharing that story too. That was awesome.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, I love you guys, and I hope to see you again.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I've had so many stories like that. One of them that I used to tell all the time was that when I was 18, I needed to move out of the house and get a place, and I won a raffle right when I needed to come up with money for a down payment, and I was able to sell it for exactly that down payment. And I was like, that's a miracle.
I did not know
proof.
that story. You have never told me that story.
I will share that story with you after the show. Yeah. But again, it's an awesome story. You don't need magic to make it valid.
John Klein, 13th of July is a very good friend's birthday as well. So I agree.